this morning. Okay, so we're just going to continue from where we stopped in the last class. In the last class, we started with Microsoft Teams, how to manage and create teams, how to create channels, right? The different types of teams, channels, chats. We looked at creating meetings, making calls. I think majorly we navigated or we worked more on the Microsoft Teams desktop app. So today we're going to continue from where we stopped in the last class. I would like you to confirm what part of my screen can you see? Is it the PowerPoint slide or the chat, the Teams chat?
I can only okay. I can see your slides now.
Okay.
I can see work with external users in Micro. It has gone
Microsoft
again.
Teams. Okay.
Yeah,
So
it
now,
has gone again. Okay, it's back.
beautiful. So today we're going to continue and we'll be looking at how you can work with external users in Microsoft Teams. Now, external users are people outside your organization, right? You have two ways that we can actually give access to external users to collaborate with your organization's employees. It's either we have the external access, which allows permission to the entire external domain. That means more like another organization that also uses a Microsoft 365 that also has a Microsoft 365 tenant. So they have their own custom domain. Now, for this external access, the employees in the other organization are able to find users, make calls, chats, and set up meetings with your own employees. So you can say, for example, we have a Microsoft Entra ID tenant, that's Contoso, with its user, an employee, which is user A. And you also have another Microsoft Entra ID tenant or organization named Fabricant that has its own employee, say user B. So user B is external to your own user who is an internal employee. So for guest access, that just has to do with a regular individual. It doesn't necessarily have to be with another organization that has a Microsoft 365 tenant. So in this case, we're looking at, say, a user that has a Gmail account or an Outlook.com account or a Yahoo account. That's just the difference between the two. So for guest access, they are also able to chat with your team members. You can add them as members to a team, and they also have access to the team's channels. Now, how do you manage access for external users? Now, in this case, they're just saying that if you need to remove a guest from a Teams channel or a Teams, when you remove that guest directly from Teams, it doesn't necessarily remove that guest user from your Microsoft 365 tenant. The guest user will still exist as a user within your organization, but not as a member or a part of your team or channel. So the only way you can remove a guest user completely from your organization would be that it's either you're removing that user from the Microsoft 365 admin center or from the Entra ID admin center. But currently, you'd only be able to remove that guest user from the Entra ID portal, because when you try to remove a guest user or add a guest user from the admin portal, that's the M365 admin portal, it will redirect you to the Entra ID portal. So we're going to see that. Now, working with external users, this is still just explaining the different kind of users that you can work with. User A is still a member of your organization, so that's not an external user. But you see user B, C, and D, we're saying that user B is someone from another Entra ID organization. User C is a user that has the consumer email account. That's the regular personal account, the Gmail, Yahoo, Outlook, like I said earlier. Then the user D would be an anonymous user that doesn't necessarily need to authenticate. They don't have, they are not signing in to your teams with an email address or a password. So such kind of users, we refer to those users as anonymous users. Now, how do we manage guest access in Microsoft Teams? I'll be doing more of explanation here before we go to um, having practical labs from the M365 tenant. So we have two options to collaborate, which is the external access and the guest access. So I already explained that to us, and here we have that both guest and external access can be used at the same time in Teams meetings. And if for compliance or security reasons, you need to limit access to your organization's Teams resources, then you should consider using external access, because with guest access, all your guest users have access to all of your Teams resources. But if you want to restrict the permission or the access that these external users have to your Teams resources or your organization's resources, then you would consider using external access. Now, with guest access, you have the capabilities of specifying the level of restrictions that would meet your organization's compliance and security obligations, the likes of deciding which teams a guest user can be added to. You need to access the guest and grant access to a team based on the domain they are coming from. So in this case, we have this part of when you're setting this external access permission from the Entra portal, you have the option of allowing, you can choose to allow all domains, right? Guest users from any domain can join, or you can just select a few domains that you would want these guest users to come from. That's the part of granting access to a team based on the domain. Now, you can also decide if the guests can access your teams and channels, your teams and channels associated SharePoint site. So that's left for you to decide. Do you want these users to have access to just the teams, or would you also want them to have access to the SharePoint site? So these are things you can do with guest access compared to the external access. Then note that you can also invite people outside your organization to Teams without necessarily configuring this external or guest access. All you need to do is just create your Teams, share just the same way we do, share the Teams meeting link, and they are able to join your Teams meeting. Now, um, in most cases too, within your teams, if you add a guest user, you'd also always see that label that shows that this user is a guest user. And I do want to remind us that when you want users outside your organizations to have access to your team's resources, it's very, very important that you create those users as guest users, because when you don't create them as guest users, there's no way you'll be able to share files with these users. There's no way you'll be able to add them to your team's channels for you to collaborate with them. So it's very, very important that you first create those users as guest users. That way you can add them to teams, add them to your channels, and you'll be able to collaborate with these external users. Now we have this part of configuring a B2B Direct Connect, which is more like a cross-tenant access, not just with external users. Now, this one has to do with the external access. Remember, I said that this has to do with you sharing resources with another user, an external user in a different Microsoft 365 tenant. Now, the only way you can also achieve this, or this would be possible, is for you to configure what we call the B2B. B2B means business to business, B2B Direct Connect. Now, where do you get this done? You have to do this, you have to configure these settings from your Microsoft Entra ID portal. So all you just need to do is when you navigate to your admin portal, you go to where you have your external identities and you select the option of cross-tenant access settings. Now from there, just make sure you have to create this trust between both organizations, right? I'm sure, I want to believe everyone here knows how to get an organization's tenant ID. You can only get that tenant ID from the Entra portal. So we'll get that together. So once you're done with that, you have to configure the inbound and outbound rules. From the word inbound, that's access from your partner to your organization, right? And outbound would mean from you to the external organization, the partner organization. So whatever configuration you set in your Microsoft 365 tenant, it's the same B2B configuration you're also going to do to the partner organization so that both organizations can sync, and that way you can all collaborate with yourselves. Now, once you're done with this, you still need to give it time, say the next 6 to 12 hours for the propagation to set, either ways. Now, we're going to just see a comparison between when external users have external access and guest access. So with external access, you only have access to chat and calls, and you're also able to join meetings. But with external access, you cannot access channels. Files that are shared within channels, you don't have access to that, and you don't have an existing identity or account within that tenant. While for guest access, for as long as you're a guest user, you've been added as a guest user, you have an existing object ID, you are an existing member within that organization, you're able to chat and make calls with users within that organization. You'd also be able to join meetings, have access to channels, and you'd also be able to you'd have access to the files that are being shared either within the teams or within a channel. Now, having to do with where we configure this external access, you can either do this from the Microsoft Teams admin portal, you can do this from the Entra ID portal, you can also do this from your we have this external sharing policy or settings from SharePoint too. So we're going to look at the different ways that you'd create these external access policies. Now, in this case, for the Teams Admin Center, you can see I did mention it's either you're allowing all domains or specific domains, right? And that's usually done from the Teams Admin Center. Your global admin or your Teams administrator would be responsible for this. A regular user would not be able to carry out all of these settings. Now, aside from using these different portals, you can also choose to use use the Windows PowerShell. I know we've not been introduced to that, but we could just use I could run a short demo with you on how to run how to run PowerShell commands. We use the Windows PowerShell to automate tasks. Say, for example, instances where you need to create, even if it's just for you to create a team, you can use a PowerShell command to create a team. You can use a PowerShell command to create users. You can use PowerShell commands to assign permissions, right? You can also use PowerShell command to configure, as you can see here, guest access policies. And one thing with the PowerShell command is it helps automate tasks. So instead of you having to do this manually, say you need to create 100 users or 100 groups, um, with PowerShell command, you just get a script, run that script, and in seconds, your users or your bulk users or bulk groups are created. Even with Teams, you can create a Teams using a PowerShell command. So now, how do we manage external collaboration in Microsoft 365 Admin Center? So from the M365 Admin Center, you just go through, these are just steps on how to enable external collaboration, because if you don't have all of these settings in place, there's just no way you'll be able to share with people outside the organization. Sometimes a user might just complain that they've shared a document or they've shared um, a file with a user and the user is unable to view that file. It could be permission issues. So for as an admin, what you need to do is you need to come to your admin portal and check that all of these settings are properly configured. Now, in SharePoint, I did also mention that we have file sharing policies in SharePoint and OneDrive. We're going to look at that together. But one thing with the file sharing permission that we have in SharePoint and OneDrive is that this particular setting applies to the whole tenant, not just for a particular user. So whatever settings you have here applies to all the users in your organization. This is more like a tenant level permission setting. Now, I did say that today I'll wrap up with Microsoft Teams, SharePoint, and OneDrive. I'm just going to give you a brief kind of what OneDrive is, what SharePoint is, and we'll go into the admin portals and see how you can manage both either as a user or as an admin. So for OneDrive, we know that OneDrive is for everyone, irrespective of whether you're an admin or a regular user. OneDrive is personal to you. It's more like your personal file storage space, while SharePoint is for basically for the whole organization, where you're able to share your files with team members. No, the files you have are actually files that belong to the team or your organization as a whole. Now, you can also sync SharePoint document libraries to your computer using the OneDrive sync client. That's the OneDrive on desktop. And files that are shared from the SharePoint can be opened and edited within the OneDrive desktop app. So basically, the benefits of using your OneDrive or your SharePoint is just for it allows for seamless offline access to Teams files. That's for OneDrive. Easy sharing and collaboration across devices, irrespective of where you are or which device you're using. Now, we're looking at a case scenario here where you get to use your OneDrive, you get to use your SharePoint. Say within Teams, you can share a file and you know that that file is automatically saved to your SharePoint site. You know, every themes that you create has a SharePoint site attached to it. And outside, say you're offline, you can work on those files and whatever changes you make automatically get syncs once you get back online. So that's just it with OneDrive and SharePoint. So I did say SharePoint is a web-based collaboration and document management platform that's developed by Microsoft. Just like you have your Teams, you have Exchange Online. For SharePoint Online, please note that we have the SharePoint on-premises server, and you also have the Exchange on-premises server. There's nothing like Teams on-prem. It's only SharePoint on-prem server, Exchange on-premises server. So now for SharePoint Online, it's web-based. You need a Microsoft 365 subscription for you to be able to use your SharePoint Online, just as with other M365 applications and services. And majorly what organizations use SharePoint Online for is to store, organize, share, and access files and documents from any device. So it's used for both small businesses and enterprise level, enterprise organizations. And majorly, SharePoint is more like you have your intranet sites that have been created and can only be accessed by users within your organization. So key features of the SharePoint Online is version control. We have what we call versioning. When employees work on a document, either it's Word, Excel, every time you make changes, you can always go back to a previous version, right? So every change you make has its own new version created. Then metadata and advanced search, customizable sites and pages. So within your organization, you can create SharePoint sites based on your organization's needs, like what you need to put across or what information you want to share with your employees. Then you're also able to integrate SharePoint with other Microsoft 365 apps. By default, it's integrated to Teams and OneDrive. So at the end of this class, you all will be able to create active SharePoint sites, or you'll be able to create sites of your own, either for your organization or just for test purpose. Now we're going to go to the demo class proper. We're going to start with our demo class, and we'll be starting off with the Microsoft Entra ID portal. I'll stop my screen share now. And if you have any question from the explanation that I've just shared, you can please ask your question before I start the labs for today. Okay, good question. So someone is asking, what is the difference between SharePoint and OneDrive since they are both for sharing? So like I said initially, OneDrive is personal. Like you have the as an employee, you have your own task, right? Your job role is different from another employee's job role. Yeah, there are certain things you'll be expected to do. There are certain projects you'll be working on. You can also choose to have your own personal stuffs, right? That's where OneDrive comes in. You decide what you want to share, who you want to share with. OneDrive is personal to you. But you see, SharePoint, SharePoint, whoever is creating the site, that site, either your IT admin, you're a member of that site. For SharePoint, it's more like it's a Teams file, it's a Teams file, a Teams document. It's not specific to you. You're working as a team. So for SharePoint, it's more or less for collaboration, right? You have different employees within your organization working on the same documents. Now, aside from that, for SharePoint, you're able to create sites. Unlike OneDrive is just for uploading, sharing, uploading documents, sharing files, and all of that. But for SharePoint, it goes beyond just uploading files and sharing. You're able to create sites that different departments would be able to use, sites that contain information. You have pages, you have lists, you have uh, document libraries. So SharePoint is more robust than OneDrive. That's the key difference between both. I hope that answers your question, CJ. Okay, you're welcome. So now, let me check this to see. Good. So now that we're signed into the M365 admin portal, I did say that I'll start with showing us first how to create teams from the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. From your M365 Admin Center, you just come to the left navigation pane and you have active teams and groups. You click on the active teams and groups.
Are you sharing your screen? I can only see RA. I'm not seeing your screen.
Hmm. Can someone else see my screen?
The screen is very visible.
Yeah, I
Maybe
can see
from
the
his
screen.
it's from his end.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You can see it.
Yes, ma, I can see
Okay,
your
okay,
screen.
that's fine. Okay, that's fine. Just go on.
Okay. Okay. So right here from the Microsoft 365 Admin Center, we have under teams and groups, you can see active teams and groups, meaning that from here you get to see all of your M365 groups, your teams, and your distribution list, your security groups. Now you'd notice here that for some groups, you can see, if you see here, you have the team status showing the team's icon, right? Then for some others, they do not have the Teams icon. That just shows you the difference between a Microsoft 365 group and a Teams group. Now, you also have what we call the membership type, all assigned. You can see the sync status. The cloud icon shows that this is a cloud only, a group that was created here. It's not synced. If you have an on-premises environment and you sync a group from your on-prem to the cloud, you would not see this icon. Rather, you're going to see a synced, a different icon showing that it's synced. But this just shows that this is cloud only. Now you can see privacy. It's showing, is this a private Teams or a public Teams? Remember, we looked at that in the previous class, and you can also see the dates that these teams were created. So in our own case, we're coming here and we're going to be adding a team. We're going to start with creating a team from the Microsoft 365 admin portal. And let's say this is an accounting team. It could be any team of your choice, depending on your organization. We have different departments for every organization. So when you create that, you put a description that the team is for the everything that has to do with account statements, right? Bills and all of that. You can just put that there. Then click next. And it's saying that there should be an owner. I'm sure by now we all know the difference between an owner and a member. What an owner does is an owner is able to manage the team. An owner is able to add members to the team. An owner is able to delete members, edit everything that has to do with managing this team is what an owner does. But for a member is part of the team, can contribute to the team, right? But does not have that option of adding, members to the team. Only an owner can do that. So there's a limit to what a member can do, but an owner has full control of the teams that are being created. So an owner here could be, most times I like to use myself as the owner, depending on who heads the department, right? So say for example, for the accounting department, we have Charles being the head of that department, then it only makes sense that Charles is one of the owners. In most cases, we don't just have one owners. They said that you should have at least two. So we can have those two owners there. The heads of the department are usually owners of a group. Then members, who would be the member of this group? I'm going to add members from the chat just so that you can confirm from your end that you have access to these teams after it has been created. So we have Gloria, Francis, Yusuf, Neni. If that's the name that was used to create your account here, let me see. So this is just a random username. Gloria Abiti Olamileko. Okay, so this is Gloria. This is Abiti. I'm just selecting random users. Olamileko, and let me just pick two more. You have Yahya and Yusuf and Tomiwa. Okay. Yahya. Yusuf. And Tomiwa. So yeah, just add as many team members as you would want to add. And we did say that this is accounting. So if that name has already been used, you will not be able to create that, use that email address. So we have that privacy. Should this be a public team where people can join without approval from an owner, or should it be a private team? So a department like the accounting department cannot be made public. It has to be private, right? Due to the kind of information that's being handled there. So your HR department, your accounting department, so that should be private. You click next and we just have that team created. So once you sign into Teams, for as long as you have your Teams desktop app, either the Teams desktop or web app, you'd see that you belong to that team. So the accounting team, that's it about creating teams from the M365 admin portal. And the last one would be to do that from your Teams admin center. So this is your Teams admin center. You click on Teams. And they have this. Okay. So from the Teams admin center, everybody here has the Teams admin role. So you will be able to navigate this from your end. Um, so from Teams, you can see the dashboard. This is the Teams admin portal. You come to manage teams. And from here, you can see the list of users that we have in this organization. Total users, you have 2040 internal users, 61 guests. And if you scroll down, you can see that teams and channels are collections of people, content, and tools used for projects or outcomes within your organization. So as an admin, you can manage all the teams and channels within your organizations, and you can create new ones. Now, right here, you have that you have 69 teams. I can choose to search for a team. The one I just created is accounting. And here it is. You can see that it's a private team. And yeah, it's active. That's the description. If I choose to delete this team now, I'll just click on delete. If I want to make changes to this team, I click on edit, right? And whatever it is I need to do, I make that changes from here. So you have different permissions, edit sent messages. You can edit sent messages, you can delete sent messages. Team owners can delete sent messages. You can add and edit channels. So these are all settings that you can do as an admin. You have guest permission. Here you see that the option for guests to add and edit channel is turned off. That means if I choose to add a guest to this team now, that guest will not be able to uh, edit or add a channel to this team. Also, the guest would not be able to delete any channel that is within this team. But once you toggle that on and you add a guest to this team, that means the guest will be able to do this, will be able to carry out these two actions. Then you click apply. So now, when you delete a team, please note that you can also restore that team. Now, if I refresh and I search for accounting team, I would not see that team pop up. I can see two of your hands are raised. Just give me a minute. So you can see no data can be found here. No data is available. So for us to recover that team, just give me a minute. Yeah, Isaac, my battery. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
battery is running low.
Interesting. Okay, then. Is that what you brought my attention to?
Yes.
Okay. That's fine. Thank you. Let me quickly get the parser.
Please, Rosia, we can't hear you, ma'am. Thank you. We can't hear you.
Yeah, I think, yeah, sorry for keeping you guys waiting. So I want you to confirm which part of my screen can you see? Hello?
The team's environment.
The Teams. Okay, okay. So sorry about that. Back to the admin portal. So yes, I deleted a Teams that was created, right? I deleted the accounting team, and I did say that for you to restore that deleted team, we've just searched and we can't find that accounting team. So what you just need to do is go back to your manage teams, and at the top right, you can see view deleted teams. So you click on that, and here the only thing we have deleted is the accounting team, and you restore. Wow, interesting. So that has been restored. If you go back to your teams, you should find that restored team. So for those users that I added to the teams, can you just confirm from your end that you can see the team that you've been added to? Okay, so here, right here, you can see your accounting team that has been restored already. So aside from this, you can also use the Windows PowerShell to create a team. So say, for example,
Breaking up.
I'm breaking. Is it still breaking? Is it clear? Can you please
Very
confirm
clear.
that? Very
You're not
clear.
breaking at all.
Okay, okay, beautiful. So we've looked at the different ways that you can create a team. And lastly, I could just show you how to use your Windows PowerShell to create a team. So if you're just starting off, you can just search Windows PowerShell from your desktop. But in this case, take note that you're going to run this Windows PowerShell as an admin. Run as admin. You either right click or you select that option to run as admin. And the first thing you do, majority of us here, I'm sure this is your first time of running a PowerShell command. So you need to install the Microsoft Teams module. I'll share the commands with you so that even after this class or while in this class, you can do that on your own. So the first thing you do is to install the module. I already have the module installed. So even if I paste that, after installing the module, the next PowerShell you run is to connect to the Teams module. If you also need to use Exchange Online, you need to first install the Exchange Online module, then import the module and connect to the module. So in this case, when you get this prompt, please take note, it needs your confirmation. So you select the option, you type A, which is yes to all, hit enter, and the next thing would be to connect hyphen Microsoft Teams. You also hit enter. Then at that point, you'll be prompted to authenticate. The moment you need to connect to either of any of the M365 services, you would be prompted to authenticate. So I'll just proceed with this. So I'm connected already, and let me share this. Connect that. Then the team that you want to create. Let's assume the team you want to create is Project Beta. So for you, whatever team it is you want to create, you just edit the name. You would see the display name. In my own case, is Project Beta. Put your own team name there, the description, what you want there. Visibility can be public or private. So I can change the public to private. It all depends on you. And you also hit enter. So that has been created already. And if you need to see the list of all the teams that I have in this tenant, just type get teams. So you can see the list of all the teams that we have created in this Microsoft tenant. The one I just created now is the project beta. And for me to add a user to that team, I'll just also, you can please always use your notepad to make changes or to edit the PowerShell command. Now, group ID, if you look here, if you look at this PowerShell command, for you to add a team member, that's to add a user to that team, you need to get the team's group ID and the user ID. Which user do you want to add to that team? So here, I'll just come over here and copy the group ID, which is this. Go to my notepad. Paste this. Then the user. Someone should please drop their email address in the chat for me so I can quickly copy that and add to the PowerShell command. Can someone please drop their test tenant account in the chat so I can just copy in? No, not a Gmail account. So now if I run this, now you would see that why when you shared the Gmail account, I did say no because this account, what type of account is this Gmail account? Can someone share with me in the chat? So that Gmail account is an external account that has not been, so you don't exist in this tenant. For me to be able to add your account, I'll need to make sure that I have created your account as a guest user, right? That's the only way I'll be able to add you to this team. So, but because Olugbenga already exists here, I know there's, I would ask Ademi Sola to share her Gmail account with me again. And you'd see that that works because Aderisola already exists in this tenant as a guest user. So you'd see for Olugbenga, we didn't get any error message because that's an existing active user account. So for Aderisola, can you quickly share your Gmail account if you're here? Let me just confirm if she's here. Aderisola. So if I add all of these accounts, it would work because you all are existing active users here. So that's it. No error message. So I'm not getting a response, but for the Gmail account, one thing I can do is just copy this, go to my Entra ID portal. I want to believe you all can see my screen. Come to active users. From here, I'm just going to show us how to configure all of the external access policies. So this is where you this is where you see your tenant ID from, like I said, from your Entra portal. So here we have users and we want to add a new user. I'm inviting an external user, which is the Gmail account. I'll just paste that here. Cute Larry, I don't know your first name or your last name, so I could just put Larry here. It's saying that this is not, okay. So send invite message to join my organization. It's this simple. So this is how you create a guest user account. So I'll just ignore all of the properties, just put Larry here. Review and invite. So once you get that invite, Larry, you can accept the invite, and that way we can add you to our team or any team that's been created within this Microsoft 365 tenant. Now, the next thing we're going to look at is we've been able to cover how to create Microsoft 365 teams from all, either from the Teams desktop, M365 admin portal, Teams admin center, and using the PowerShell command. So now we're now going to look at how to configure external access from this Entra ID portal. So we go to external identities, and from here you can see the cross-tenant access settings. So what this does, I've already explained initially that it allows for two different organizations, that's two different M365 organizations to collaborate, to share resources, have access to teams and channels. So with this, we have our default settings here. You do have your inbound access settings and your outbound access settings. Now, from the inbound access settings, please take note that what we are configuring here is the B2B Direct Connect. B2B Direct Connect. And for you to make changes, you need to click on the edit icon. That's the pencil icon. And what you should do is allow access. This is B2B Direct Connect. You can see that this is blocking, it's set to block. So you click on allow access. And for the applications, you also do the same, allow access rather than block access. Then you click save. That's for the inbound. Then we'll also do the same for outbound. You scroll down, click on the edit pencil icon, go to your B2B Direct Connect. For users, allow access. And here it's saying applies to all Wisdomware Academy users. Okay, so that's every user that we have within this tenant. Same with the external application, allow access, and it's saying for all external applications. So you click save. Now, so if you have another, for those that subscribed to Microsoft 365, that's for those that have their own M365 tenants, I would like you to carry out this configuration on your tenant and see how you're able to communicate between both tenants, right? Now, this is one M365 tenant. If I want to communicate with another Microsoft 365 tenant, say the Nigerian M365 community tenant, what I've just done here is the same thing I would do on the other tenant, so that when I'm on Teams, I can search for any user within that tenant, and I'll be able to chat or share files and all of that with that tenant. So here it's saying that tenant restrictions, edit tenant restrictions by default. We have the default setting here. So here you have this is our tenant ID. You would also need to, in this case, it's saying that we need to complete an additional setup for us to be able to make changes here. So even if I choose to allow access, let me see if this would save. Good. So conflicting configuration found for access types on applications. Both access types must match. Okay, then. So that means I'll come back to external applications and allow access. Click save. So now that has been successfully updated. So this is about configuring how you set up your external access settings from the Entra ID portal. So another settings we need to check here is, let's go back to external identities. Here we have, this is for Cross-Tenant, and here we have external collaboration settings. This is for specifically for guest users. So in this case, most times the settings we have here is actually right, like by default, but you as an admin might want to make changes. All you need to do is just check through and see which of these conditions uh, meets your organization's needs. If it doesn't meet it, then you make changes. If it's not what you want, you can always choose the option that best suits your needs. Now here we have guest access, guest user access. Guest users have the same access as members. Do you want that, or you want the guest users to have limited access to properties and memberships, or you want guest users access to be restricted to properties and memberships of their own directory objects? So whichever one you want, you would just select that. If you want guest users to have the same access as members, I think it shouldn't be. They should have limited access. Not everything that your employees can do that guest users should be able to do. Now here you have guest invite restrictions. Anyone in your organization can invite guest users, including guest and non-admins. Member users and users assigned to specific admin roles can invite. So only users assigned to specific admin roles can invite guest users. So if I pick this, that means only users that have roles, say for example, majority of the mentees here have some roles that have been assigned to them. Only those mentees will be able to invite guest users, or better still, no one in the organization can invite guest users. That's quite, I think that's the most restrictive. So you can't have any guest user in this organization once you pick this last option. So whatever change you make, you need to save. Here it says enable guest self-service sign up for user flows. It's set to no. Allow external users to remove themselves from your organization. So if at any point in time a guest user no longer works for your organization, they have that right. If you toggle this to yes, they have the right to leave your organization. Then here you have cross-tenant access settings. Allow invitations to be sent to any domain. Deny invitations to the specified domains. Now, in this case, let's say you don't want people from a particular domain to be invited to your organization. Say the domain is xyz.com. You need to check this. Deny invitations from this domain. So any user that has this say a first name and a last name dot, a domain will be at xyz.com. Such invitations would be denied. So you click save. So this is one settings that we have from the Entra ID portal. And that's it. So the next thing we're also going to look at now is OneDrive and SharePoint. When it comes to external sharing settings in Microsoft 365, let's start with Microsoft 365 before we go to SharePoint and OneDrive. So for M365, you just come to settings from your left navigation pane, go to org settings, that's organization settings. And here you should see security and privacy. Let's start with sharing. You can see sharing. You have how you control access for people outside your organization. So let users add new guests to the organization. If I toggle this off, that means only admins would be able to add new guests to the organization. But if this is toggled on, users would be able to add new guests to the organization. So that's it about sharing within M365. And now we go to SharePoint Admin Center. This is your SharePoint Admin Center. From here, so if you're a user, all you need to do is just go to your Microsoft. Once you sign into Microsoft 365, a regular user would not see this admin icon, right? All they'll just need to do is they'll see their apps. You either click on apps from here, and from that apps, they are able to launch SharePoint, OneDrive, and Teams as a regular user. You have that option. You just click on SharePoint over the web, Teams over the web, OneDrive over the web. All of your applications are here and can be accessed directly from the admin, from the home page, from the M365 homepage. So coming back here to the SharePoint Admin Center, if you need to look at the sharing policy here, this was what I showed us earlier in the class. You have different sharing policies, permissions here. You have anyone, that means users can share files and folders using links that don't require sign in. Now, if I toggle this to not anyone but new and existing, so this sharing policy applies to, you have OneDrive and SharePoint. Now, new and existing guests, that means guests must sign in or provide a verification code. Or better still, what this simply means that once I'm sharing a file from OneDrive, only existing guests that are already in my organizations would be able to access that file. Or better still, only people in my organization. That means such files cannot, no file will be able, I'll not be able to share any file with someone outside my organization. Now I'll go to, the same thing applies to SharePoint. If you also want to set the sharing policy for SharePoint, you toggle between all of these permissions. Anyone means that if I share a link with anyone, they don't need to sign in. I'm trying to move this back. So I'm going to show us how we set those, when you need to share files, when you get that prompt to select the sharing permission. So additional sharing settings we have here. Limit external sharing by domain. That means you need to add domains. Allow only users in specific security groups to share externally. So these are settings that the admin would put in place. Now, guest access to a site will expire automatically after this number of days. You need to put the number of days. We have 60 already. So for file and folder links, you have choose the type of link that is selected by default. Specific people, only people in your organization, anyone in the anyone with the link. Then you also have choose the permission that's selected by default for sharing links. You have edit. Now you can also choose expiration and permission options for anyone with the links. So here you can put the number of days. If it's 60 days, that means after 60 days, those users will not be able to access the files that you've shared. Now let's have a typical instance from OneDrive. Let's say I want to share a file from OneDrive now. This is my OneDrive. I just come to the app launcher from your top left, click on OneDrive. So you can pick a file from your desktop and drop here in your OneDrive, or better still, pick a go to file. It's either you're creating a new file from here, or you're uploading, or you're creating a new folder. There are several things you can do. You either create a Word document, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, Forms, whichever one you choose to create. This is your OneDrive. You can do that from here. If you also choose to upload, you can upload files. That means I'm picking that directly from my desktop. So let's say we have this is MS 900. Okay, I was looking for, let me go back one step. That should be exam DOMS. Let's say I'm picking MS 900 and I click open. So from my files, you're going to see these are the stuffs that I worked on today, and I'm the owner. If I come to shared files will show up here. I've not shared any file. When I click on my files, you can see the MS 900 file that I just uploaded. This just shows that this is a new file that has been added. And to share this file, if I want to share this file, I could use the share icon or click on the three dots here to share this file. I could also click on manage access, right? Manage access here would involve me sharing this file, and with who. Let's say I want to share this file with, let me pick a user account from Teams. Okay, Olugbenga is saying that please share the scripts to add the users. I already shared the script. You can please confirm that from the chat. Coming back here, I'm going to share this with Isaac. Just pick Isaac. Now, I want you to take note. If I share this file with Isaac, because this is more like a PDF file, if it's a Word or Excel file, if I select this option, it can edit. That means Isaac will be able to edit. If I select the option can view, he would only be able to see. He will not be able to make changes to this document. Same way with can't download. If I choose the option to can't download, he would only be able to view. He will not be able to download. So whichever permission or access that you pick does matter. So once you've selected the users you want to share with, you will just click on send. So that's straightforward. Those users can confirm that they've received the file that I've just shared. Now I want to also say something here. When you click on share, you'd see an advanced option. You see this part that says copy link. You'll be able to specify which users to what action. Let me say I click on the settings icon. You see, this is the same thing that we had on the SharePoint site, where we have this link. If I choose to share this link, it's going to work for anyone. That means if I share the link with you, everyone would be able to access that file without necessarily signing in. But if I choose to share this with only people in Wisdomware, that means after sharing this file link with you, if you go and give it to someone with a Gmail account that's not added to this organization as a guest user or just a random user, that person would not be able to access the file because there'll be need for that person to authenticate, right? They will need to sign in with their username and password. And if they don't exist in this organization, they will not be able to access the file. Now, this one is saying only people with existing access, right? That's the first two initial people. And the last option is saying here that I can choose who to share this file with. So now more settings, still the same one we had earlier, can edit. You can also choose to put an expiration date, say after, just the same way you have a form. I create a form and I'm asking for your responses. I want you to fill the form, or an assignment. I give you an assignment. I could say you have just 1 week to fill the details and submit. So after that date, this link expires, and it's actually that straightforward. Very, very straightforward. So this is how we share files within OneDrive, and you guys can always take your time to explore more stuffs within OneDrive. So if I choose to delete, let me show you something about here. I'm signed into Tech Tired. So I can't see the my recordings here. This is a different tenant, else I would have shown you. So these are different teams here. You can see the different teams, and you can also see the storage. This is my OneDrive storage. I have 100 gigabytes of OneDrive storage, and I've just used less than 0.1 gigabyte. So if I take it back up from OneDrive, here you should see. Initially, you'd notice that there was nothing here, right? But now we have MS900, which is the file that I've just shared. The people that I've shared these files with would be able to um, view this file. Now, going to your recycle bin, if for any reason this file is deleted, you can always get that from your recycle bin. Let me click on the delete icon. You can also, for those that I shared this file with, you can choose to download. Just click on the download icon there. So I close this. I want to show us something quickly. This is OneDrive. So for OneDrive, we have what we call recycle bin, the first stage recycle bin and the second stage recycle bin. So when you delete a file, you would also always see that file in your recycle bin, and it has like 30 days for it to be restored. If after 30 days you don't restore that file, it moves to the second stage recycle bin. Though even when you delete the file from the first stage recycle bin, it goes to the second stage recycle bin and it remains there for another 63 days. That means in total, you have 93 days to recover a deleted file in OneDrive. So what happens after the 93 days? It's gone permanently. It cannot be recovered. I think we have a point in time recovery. Now, after that 93 days, we do have a point in time recovery that Microsoft does, the back end team does for you, and that's just for 14 days after the 93 days, right? 14 days after the 93 days. After that 14 days, nothing can be done. So if I come to recycle bin, you would see this is the file that I just deleted, right? This is the first stage recycle bin. So if I choose to, I can choose to either restore or delete. This is what wicked employees used to do. Sorry to say, when I say wicked, some employees that are not happy to leave your organization, what most times what they do is they come here and they will delete what is in their recycle bin. They will also delete what is in the second stage recycle bin. Yeah. So now if I come to my second stage recycle bin, I'll see it here. So they'll come here too, and also I'm trying to figure out something. Okay, let me delete and see. So imagine now that I delete this from the second stage recycle bin. Where would I recover it from? There's no way I'm going to recover this. It's going to be gone, right? So if someone does this, deletes from the first, second stage, and you as an admin, you do not take you are not aware, and the 14 days period elapses, that means that file is gone. You can see it's saying it that if you permanently delete this, you will not be able to restore it. But because I have a copy, I can go ahead and delete, right? So you see that there's nothing there's nothing here for me to restore. So you need to be very careful when you have when you're deleting files, and as an admin, from time to time, you can always check that. So coming to OneDrive, most times it's users, the end users that will reach out to you for support within their OneDrive. And here you have this restore your OneDrive option. Now, if I click on restore your OneDrive, this will take me to, I'll need to select to what date. If something goes wrong, you can restore your OneDrive to a previous time, select a date preset, or use the slider to find a date. So I could just pick a custom date and time. This is like 0 days ago, 1 day, 2 days. So if I choose to use this slider, I'll just move it to, a lot of things happened today. Today, you can see it tells you what happened. So if I go up, I'll just click on restore. It says all changes after 12th 9. Today is 9th, will be like 2 days ago. So this is one way you can also restore or make changes to your OneDrive. So while that is being restored, we go back to SharePoint. Let me quickly confirm that I'm not missing something here. So yes, I did make mention of SharePoint. For SharePoint, what you can do is first we look at how you create sites in SharePoint Admin Center. Very important. You can see here that Yahya Sadiq has created a SharePoint site here. If I move this slide to, he created a communication site. Who else is here? You have Oladapo Adedeji has also created a site. So, but for us to get started with, this is the site storage. You can see we have 100 terabytes. 99 of this is still available. We're still in green. So quickly, if we need to create a site, we have, you just click on the plus. Most times the plus is for you to create a new, either new user, new shared mailbox, new teams, or new site. So in this case, when you need to create a SharePoint site, you do have what type of site? We have two types of sites, SharePoint sites that you can create. You can either create a Teams SharePoint site or a communication site. Someone might want to ask me, what's the difference between the two? So for a team site is more of a site for collaboration where team members are able to work together on the same file. They can edit the files, they can share files together. This one basically is for collaboration between team members. But you see communication sites, this one is usually for a large audience. Say you want to pass a message across, for example, like news, announcements, you want to upload trainings. So that's what you do for a communication site. So we'll just pick, you can, from your own end, try to create both type of sites and see the experience within both sides. Now you already have templates here that you can pick from. You have a standard team site. You have templates like employee onboarding. This one will be for HR, event planning, can also be for HR, depending on what event your team is planning. So you just pick one of these templates. You have IT, this will be for your IT department. Project management, same for your IT department. So when you select any of these, all you just need to do is just edit the template, right? Just edit it. These are ready-made. Let's say I pick the IT help desk. So I'm choosing to use this template. You click use template and I give it a name, IT help desk. Someone else is already using that. So I'll just use technical support team. Oh, site name. This is the group or group email address. That should be support. Okay. So now who should be the owner of this site? The group owner. Who else is here? Let me see if you have okay, let me use Gloria. Let me use Rashid. Okay, so once the site is created, you'll be able to add more owners. But at the point of creating this site, you can only add one owner. Now, privacy settings. Do you want it to be private or public? Anyone in the organization can access the site. Let's pick private. Select the language. We'll stick with English. Then you create the site. So after creating the site, you can now add members to this site. Sorry if I'm not picking your name. I'm just trying to quickly. So here I can now decide to make Gloria either the owner or the member. So the more users you add, I have Gilbert here. Gilbert can also be a member or an owner. So that's how you add members to the site. So once you add those members, only those members, because we said it's private, only those members would have access to that site. Quickly, let me check again what the name of the site is. I think is IT help desk. Okay, so you'd see if I pick this, the one with the support team is what I just created, and from here you have view site. So let's go to view site. Oh, interesting. Imagine that I created this site and I need permission to access the site because I'm neither an owner nor am I a member of this site. So those people, membership, let me add owner, Rafia. I add myself. So please, if you have any question, you can drop your question in the chat or raise your hand so I can answer your question before I end. So let me just quickly check IT help desk. I pick the support one that I just created. I click on, okay, you can send a mail to that site. I click on view site. It's still saying access required. Okay. So now let's go to policies sharing. Let me just confirm that everything is fine here. Good. So why is it saying that access is required?
Maybe you need to refresh or so.
I'm actually doing that. Thank you. So yeah, so that's basically how the SharePoint site works. And if you also delete a site, you can always recover your site. Just go to deleted sites here and you'll be able to recover the site. So you have the settings option here. You can let people outside the organization email this team. It's more like a team. Don't forget, we have it's a team site. You have your privacy. You have here external file sharing. Please accept based on the organizations. What some admins, when you tell them to select this option, they'll say no. They only want it for people within their organization. They don't want it set to anyone. So depending on what the admin or you as an admin, what your organization wants. So that's it about settings. For membership, you can always come here to add as many owners as you want, add as many members as you want. You have what we call site admins, site owners, site members. So you can just add members to either of these. But I hope you do know that a site owner is different from what a site owner can do. A site member would not be able to. Same with a site visitor. A site visitor would only be able to view. They can't make changes. They can't add anything. So let me see if I can view this site now. It's still saying I need access. Okay. So I might just need to give that time. And let me quickly do something. Let's say I'm creating this standard communication site and I'm using this template. Give it a site name, sales. I close this description. This site is available with modification, sales 2, and I give it an owner, Rafia. I click next. I click create site. So within the site, you can upload files, you can share files, you can do a whole lot within your SharePoint site. So that's still loading. Does anyone have any question? You can please raise your hand or drop your, this was the one I just created. And I go to view site. So this works fine, right? I just wanted you guys to see this. So this works fine. This is what the SharePoint site looks like. So welcome. Select the edit at the top right of the page to start customize. So, this is a template based on your own sales department, what they choose to have here. You just click on this edit icon, update it with whatever details you want to put in there, and you save. Once you're done, whatever changes you make, you just put an intro here. If you guys have news, whatever it is that you have, you can create a news post. You add that new news post. If you have an upcoming event, just like how a regular website looks, right? But this is just intranet within your SharePoint site. It's not accessible to the general public. It's not accessible to the general public. So once you're done, you click your save changes. Let me do something here. Close this, and new upcoming event. Trying to see, add a link, name or address. Let me just put my name here, Rafia Abdul Salam. It's not seeing my name. No results found. Let me say I'm adding a section.
Your name is not complete, so write this Abdul Salam, not Abdul Salam.
Okay. Imagine me not writing my name completely. That's serious. Thank you. So yes, I'll just save and close and possibly just republish that, and whoever is a member of this site would have access to this site, right? Click on new. From here, I can upload documents. I'm trying to show us that. Okay, ready to republish.
I have to click on republish.
I've done that. Thank you. So you guys are really following. So here you can create a new list, document library, whatever apps, whatever it is you need to add to your site. You have that option to customize this site to your taste, right? So guys, I'll be stopping here so I don't get I did say that more details would be shared, or more class updates will be shared with you. The resources, I do have what do I call these labs, Teams labs, that I'll be sharing after this class. This class recording would also be shared. I'm sure everyone here has access to a Microsoft 365 tenant that you can always repro with. And if you have questions outside of this class, please do not hesitate to send me a message, right? Hopefully in the coming year, first quarter, we'll have another class of this kind, and we'll be able to cover up whatever is left that needs to be covered. So thank you guys for joining in. And does anyone have any question you can quickly ask before I call it a day?
Yes, thank you so much, madam. Really appreciate.
You're welcome.
This my question is on this site we just created.
I'm not hearing you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Sorry about that. The site we created now can only be accessed. We created it with SharePoint, right? And it can only be accessed by the internal user only. That is a member of the group. Okay, can we still use the same SharePoint to create a site that can be accessed by external person?
No, you can't.
We can use SharePoint for that.
Yeah, except you share this. You share this with someone.
To do that.
Exactly. When you say creating websites, we have just like you have.
No, I mean just site like this, but external person can. It's a case you can create the site and external person can access it, right?
Okay, you want an instance where an external user would be able to access your site. That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, it's what I'm actually, yeah.
So now, if you look at this, gmail.com, assuming I'm sharing this with Rafia.
Okay.
Can you see this? It's saying that I can only share within my organization, right?
Yeah.
Only within your organization. So that's it.
Okay.
That's why
thank
it's
you very
called an
much.
intranet site. That's why
it's called
intranet.
intranet. Thank you. I love that. So any other question?
So I want to get something clearer. So
Okay.
SharePoint as it is,
Mm-hmm.
um, how does it affect the whole ecosystem of MS 900? As in, what critical role is it playing?
Wow. What critical role is it playing? That's a very good question. Now, most organizations, I don't know if you work, if your organization uses Microsoft 365, most organizations rely heavily on SharePoint when it comes to more like a data backup, right? I don't even know the right word to use now. Say, educational institutions, health organizations like medical centers, they bank heavily on SharePoint because this is where most of the files are being backed up. I don't know if you get it. This is where most of the files are being uploaded. So that's I would say the most important or critical aspect of SharePoint. If you're looking at records as far back as, if you remember your Exchange trainer did tell you that we used to have something called public folders in the past. Now, most organizations no longer bank on public folders. Rather, they bank on SharePoint for their document management. So that's how important SharePoint is for most organizations.
And it allows to go paperless also.
Yes, digital. That's where the modern workplace comes in. Digitalization. Nothing, you don't have to, even as regards having to send mails, sending attachments, sending files via attachments through mails. With SharePoint, you don't necessarily have to do that. You just share directly, and you don't have to go through sending back and forth emails. I don't know whose mic is sounding that way. But let me quickly check. If you have any question, you can just drop that in the chat. I see Jimo, Amina, you want to ask a question. Can you?
Does SharePoint have any career path, as in maybe something like an associate certification or something? Because for
It
me, the way I'm
does.
looking at it, it's like it can be. I'm looking at it as a
Yes,
database in a way.
it has that's why I said if you check a Glassdoor, maybe what most of you should do is try, and even on LinkedIn, Glassdoor, Indeed. It's just because of where we are here in Nigeria, right? You would see roles that are just specific to SharePoint admin, Teams administrator, identity and access management administrator, exchange administrators. We have such kinds of roles where you're just the SharePoint admin, you're just the exchange admin for the organization. But just know that if you're an exchange admin, you're going to be both an exchange online admin and an exchange on-prem admin. Right, you're not just focusing on exchange online. That's where you also have, so when you see M365 specialists, those ones are generalists. They manage everything that has to do with M365. But you see SharePoint, like I told you guys in one of my classes, I had a mentee that got interviewed for a SharePoint admin role. All you just be doing is just SharePoint, managing SharePoint, everything that has to do with migration. This one is just basics, like creating site, and it's just basics. Like a real SharePoint admin has lots more to do. So if you've not joined the Nigerian M365 community, I'll advise that you join that, because we have loads of videos already for the SharePoint, because we did focus on SharePoint as a whole, as a technology, between July and December. That was what we focused on, SharePoint Online. I'll try to get all of the class recordings and share with you for those who would want to dive deeper into SharePoint. Yes, you can just be a SharePoint admin. You can also just focus on Teams. I hope you do know that aside from these Teams that has to do with calls, messaging, meetings, we do have the part of devices, team devices. Teams rooms, Teams devices, making international calls, domestic calls within Teams. That require that you have either a domestic calling plan license or international calling plan license or a pay-as-you-go calling plan license. So in our subsequent classes, this is just a beginner's class, just introducing you to see what M365 has to offer. And if you're already an IT admin within your organization, I'm sure you'd want to improve um, make the most use of your Microsoft 365 tenant. So here we have the Nigerian M365 community YouTube channel. You can do, if you've not subscribed, you can do well to subscribe to that. I do have my own YouTube channel too. I've not shared that link, but let me see if I can get that link quickly. I know I'll try and update the links. I'll share the last links with you. This is for M365. Let me check if I can still share mine before the end of the class. This is mine, and yeah, let me see. Share channel. So this is mine. You can also subscribe to this. Subsequent times I could just upload a video depending on what I need to share. So you can subscribe to both channels, and I also shared the Nigerian 365 WhatsApp group. If you're an IT professional and you're looking to grow in this career space, it only makes sense that you you join this community of like-minded professionals. We keep learning every day. There are lots of opportunities that could come at any time. This is the WhatsApp group link I've just shared in the chat. So just click on the links and join the WhatsApp group, subscribe to the YouTube channel. And yeah, Charles, I don't know, you have a question? Who else has a question?
Are you hearing me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I know I want to ask about the exams. The one for security, say the first exam you need to write is C
SC
900, right?
900.
900, right? Then the one of M365. What is the exams? What is the exams that if you want to start with that, what exams are you going to write?
So when I said security, security is not for you. You can only choose to write security after you've written MS9. Security is for everyone, right? But for you that has
Okay.
just taken this MS Microsoft 365 beginners training, which is MS 900, it focuses, MS 900 focuses more on everything we've just covered now, M365 apps and services, right? The intro to cloud computing that we did in the very first class that has to do with the public cloud, hybrid private cloud, infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, all of that, right? These are all the things. Let me even share the link with you. Just do
Okay.
your MS 900 and you'll see that we have a Microsoft Learn module. We call that Microsoft Learn module. MS 900. I think what I'll do is I'll still find time to explain all of this to you guys. Because for someone like for this MS 900, you need to write these exams before March, right? This is the exam. You can see, if you can still see my screen, these are the learning modules that you should go through. We've covered all of this. We've covered cloud concepts, we've covered apps and services, we've covered security and compliance. We've worked on billing. This part, I think we spend most time on this particular part and the second one. So on your own, you can just go through all of this. You already have the credentials to the tenant. So it even makes it more easy for your self-study, right? Outside of
Okay, you can
this
share the
class.
link with us also. Share the link on this thing also.
Okay, I'm sharing that. I'm sharing that now. And
Okay.
But
we also
can I?
have,
Uh,
please go ahead.
the last thing I want to say is when you the security is SC 900, then this one now is MS 900. Hello? God.
Okay, I can hear you. Please go ahead. You were saying
Okay,
something.
I was saying, yes, I was saying that the one for security, beginner security
Yes, it
is
does.
SC 900. Then this one is
Mm-hmm.
MC 900 also.
MS 900.
Uh,
MS
MS
900.
900. Okay,
Yes.
MS 900. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah,
no
MS
problem.
900. So these are anything you see 900, you have AZ 900, MS 900, AI 900. They are all fundamentals. And yes, with these are certifications that you should have to start off as a Microsoft 365 engineer, technical support engineer, or administrator. It's very, very good.
Okay,
Yes, these are
okay. The,
fundamental exams that you
okay.
should have, certifications that you should have.
Okay, but sorry, this certification, are they subject to renewal, or when you have done with exam is done, you don't renew exams, like 1 year you write again and all that? It's just once, right?
Yeah, for fundamental exams, it's once. You don't renew fundamental exams. It's a once in a
Okay,
lifetime exam. Yeah, once
okay.
in a lifetime.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Mr. Rashid, you
Okay,
were asking a question.
so my own take is it appears MS 900 is going on retirement by March, if I'm correct.
You're very correct.
Does it mean they are replacing with another?
Yeah, now Microsoft focuses more on Copilot, right? I know there are some better exams that have been released on AI agents. And I was even going to look for that link and share. But I cannot say for sure that that's what's replacing M365. But if you look at the admin portal, I don't know if you've noticed this change, this new feature at the, uh, can you see we have agents here, right?
Yeah.
This wasn't here before. So
Yes.
we'll begin to have agents doing all of these admin roles with time. Agents are now
Okay.
being integrated to SharePoint, Teams, right? So we have our co-pilot already. So I think if you ask an admin of 5 years ago, they'll tell you that Microsoft keeps evolving, right? Lots and lots of changes because we didn't have co-pilot here before. We didn't have purview here before. It used to be compliance. We didn't have identity. It used to be I think it used to be Microsoft, it used to be Azure AD. It wasn't identity before. So all of this, there'll be lots of changes, lots and lots of changes. But yeah, I don't know what's replacing MS 900 for now. But I think just like we have MS 500 too got expired, and I think the replacement for MS 500 we can say is SC 401, if I'm not mistaken. SC 401. So, but for
But
MS 900, it's still active till March.
okay. So
Yeah.
so my concern is that for new entrants now, because
Mm-hmm.
this is the basics, if you look at MS 900 very well, it's very,
Mm-hmm.
very robust. It cuts
Very robust.
across every and every. Now, when
Every.
it's gone, for new
Mm-hmm.
entrants, wouldn't you do, because some of us that enjoy this now, even if it's
Mm-hmm.
just to download the
Mm-hmm.
downloadable to ensure that before they retire it and you will see it again, but we have it. But for those
Okay.
people that are coming, wouldn't you see that if you
Mm.
wants to transfer that knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
won't you notice that there can be a kind of gap?
They will definitely, because these are the basics for the experts. This is
Because for
where we
me to
get
use
started
agents,
from.
use all these new Copilot they are putting, I need to
Mm.
have domain understand what I want to put inside Copilot. Copilot is copiloting. It can't solve. a problem on his own. There has to be something inside of it that I wanted to co-pilot.
So that's why it's important that you learn what you can learn within the short period, right? So advisable if you're able to cover up all of this before March and you write your exams, I think that's a plus, and you just keep building on the advanced certifications, either it's the associate or the expert. Either the associate or the expert. So what anyone can do, I would say, is you could download the learning modules. I don't know how, um, if it's possible, you can just download that and have a copy. But I think for certified trainers, we do already have that in the download center. You might want to check that, Mr. Rashid, as a trainer.
You're
Trainers
right.
have that.
You are very correct. But do you also want to agree with me that even the what we have in download center is not as robust as what we have in the module details everything. But
You're right.
the download center is just a slides, just a bullet,
Sorry for
assuming that
cutting
you
you,
know
sir.
everything.
Madam,
Whereas
as
you
the
yourself,
class
you are still
ended,
learning.
please.
Yes. So
As the class ended, please, Madam Rush.
we do not have vouchers. Sorry. Sorry to cut you off. Yeah, I think I should just stop the recording. That's yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah.
So let me just stop the recording.
All right, that's fine.